Hello and welcome to this new video. In the previous video, we implemented the team management system on the dedicated server side. In this video, we will allow the client to see his team in the match. It also allows us to test the implementation that we did in the previous video. To start, go to the Common Widget folder to add a widget representing the player's team. This allows him to see his team in the game. Create a widget representing a team member. In this widget, we will display information concerning the member of a team. Basically, I will display the player name of this member. So add a canvas panel, then a second canvas, and then reset its offset and anchor. Add a horizontal box to this canvas. Add a size box to this horizontal box. Then override its width and height. Now add a border to this size box. Add to this border a text representing the member player name. Give a name to this text, then declare it as a variable. Do the same for the border, because I want to dynamically change the brush color of the border if the text represents the player name of the local player. This allows us to identify the local player among the list of members displayed. Don't forget to set the widget to desired once finished. Go to the widget graph, then add a variable representing the member's player card. This variable must be editable and exposable on spawn. We now need to update the player name text according to the player name provided by the player card variable. We will change the brush color of the border if this player card represents the player card of the local player. We can check this condition using the easy OSS Get OSS Player Nickname node. Select the implementation, then collapse it to a function. Call this function in the widget's construct event. We will now create the player team widget, which represents a player's team, therefore the list of members of this team. Add a canvas panel, then a second canvas, then set the offset and anchor. Add a vertical box to this canvas. It is in this vertical box that we will add the list of team members. I want to add a widget of a team member to see the appearance. Change the name of the vertical box, then declare it as a variable. I will remove the widgets I added. It was just for testing. To ask the server to return the team to the player, we must go through the player controller of the player, which by its role will call the game mode to obtain the team of a client. So go to the master player controller interface and add a function that is used to return the team to the client from the server. This should not be confused with the function we are going to add and the existing function getPlayerTeam. Remember that this existing function is used by the dedicated server to get a player's team from his game instance. Go to the master player controller to implement this function. Add a custom event that runs on the server and is used to contact game mode to obtain a player's team. This event must take the local player's controller as a parameter. to get the team from the server, called the Master Game Mode Interface function, which we added in the previous video. Promote the output to a variable. Then make it replicated. Now connect this variable to the interface function output we just added. We must now go to the child player controller to call the event that we just added in the parent class. In our case, it will be the player controller of World 2. We must define a timer that calls the event permanently. We must do this because the team can change on the server side at any time. But before proceeding, I forgot one thing. In fact, I have to define in the master player controller an event that runs on the client and that calls the event that runs on the server. Because the event that runs on the client must provide the local player controller of the player to the event running on the server. Now go back to the World 2 player controller and set the timer. Add a function that is used to call the master player controller event. This function will therefore be executed permanently by the timer. We can now go back to the widget to contact the player controller to get the player's team from the server. Before adding members to the vertical box, we must check that the function has returned a valid team, therefore a team that has members, because in the case of a connection problem, this function returns an empty structure. To add a member in the vertical box, use the Add Child node. We need to loop through the team members array to create an item widget for each member and then provide the created widget to the Add Child node of the vertical box. This implementation will be called permanently, so we must empty the vertical box at each call to avoid duplicates. Add a custom event that is used to execute this implementation. In the event construct, we must define a timer that calls this implementation permanently. It's fairer to do the clear children once the server has returned a valid team. We will now add this widget to the World 2 UI, so the client can see his team once connected to the dedicated server. We are now ready to launch a test and verify our implementation. Before testing, I just want to increase the waiting time of players in the World 2 game mode. It allows me to have time to test all possible scenarios. Launch a dedicated server and several client instances. I have already added a fourth player to show you the case of connections of two multiplayer lobbies. Try to start a dedicated match for each player, so a connection of solo players. You see that player 1 is currently alone in the team. His team is incomplete because the game mode defines 2 players as a max number of players in a team. Once player 2 is connected, his team has been merged with player 1's team. So the 2 players are now friends. Connect player 3. Player 3 remains alone in his team until there is a team that can accommodate him. Now connect player 4. And there you have it, player 3's team and player 4's team are merged into one team. If we disconnect player 4, player 3 comes back alone in the team. If we disconnect player 2, then the server will put player 1 and 3 in a single team. Create a lobby session on player 2 side, then join it from player 4. Now start a dedicated match on player 2 side. And there you have it, both players are connected and the server has put them in a complete team directly. Start disconnecting players and see how the server handles situations. Same, try connecting players again and check that the server is behaving well. Disconnect all players, then create a multiplayer lobby for player 1 and 2, and a multiplayer lobby for player 3 and 4. Now connect both lobbies to the dedicated server. And there you have it, the server has put each lobby member into their team. If one player from each lobby leaves the server, then the server will merge the two remaining players into one team. There you go, everything works fine. I'll let you try to change the max number of players in a team. For example, put 3 instead of 2 and relaunch the test to see how the server will behave. That's all for this video. See you in the next one.